Hello world, it's John Pinto, your roving realtor, bon vivant, video blogger, podcaster, home chef, and I am here at Housley's tasting room in downtown Napa on Clinton with my very favorite PhD nutritionist, Matt Tryon. How are you today, Matt?
No, I'm the only one.
Oh, you realize that. You realize
I'm
that
picking
you're
up
not
on the
only my
trend, yeah.
favorite, but my only. Exclusivity.
Right. It's sunny and 70 degrees in Napa. I'm doing okay.
That's right. That's right. So we are at Housley, where they have beautiful Cabernet Sauvignons. I think they got a Zinfandel. It's a cigar-friendly environment out on the patio. Right now, I had purchased a Housley brandy a couple of weeks ago and brought it back to pair with a cigar at some point in time. It's quite lovely, made out of Cabernet Sauvignon grapes. And today, Matt and I are going to do round two of the Smart Scale that you provided for me yesterday, and talk a little bit about that. Matt, remind us, what is the name of that Smart Scale?
Well, it's a renpho smart scale, and they have different versions of it, but that one's the most updated one that you got, and it measures not just weight, your body fat percentage, your muscle mass, your bone density, or your bone mass, and also lean muscle mass and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so it didn't take that much to figure out. The unboxing was easy. They had the three AAA batteries in a package ready to go. It took me half a dozen tries to sync it up to Bluetooth. I wasn't aware that I could and might add it to Wi-Fi, but I'm sure it probably connected automatically because I did get my data. And the dashboard, I must say, is extremely robust. I saw 13 different values, which you started on, but can you reiterate as many of those 13 values as you can remember?
I'm going to look at my phone because there's a lot of them.
Okay, very good, very good. You're going to look at your dashboard?
My dashboard has, there's a lot of them. So it measures not just your weight, it'll calculate your BMI, your body fat, your fat-free body weight, subcutaneous fat, visceral fat, body water percentage, your skeletal muscle, your muscle mass, the amount of protein you have, your basal metabolic rate, or your BMR, and your bone mass. And then it gives you this proprietary measurement, which is your metabolic age, which is sort of comparing where you are age-wise with where you are metabolically.
Right. I found the dashboard to be extremely helpful, which is why I wanted to do a redux on the vlog that we did yesterday. Because it does have color-coded values as to, danger, Will Robinson, danger, and optimal numbers, et cetera, and I saw that I needed to adjust and improve 46 pounds to go from one category on my simple weight calculation to a more acceptable category, and I predicted my weight to the ounce, by the way. I was happy about that. And I figured I'd take an aggressive approach because I saw how I responded to the Libre 2 Freestyle continuous blood glucose monitor with fasting and making changes in what I was eating. So I took an aggressive approach and said, okay, I'm going to lose 46 pounds in 92 days. We'll see. Tune in. Stay tuned.
Yes.
Stay tuned. But like, for instance, this morning, combining the Oura Ring readings that I got from my sleep last night, the blood glucose readings I got from the Freestyle Libre 2 glucose monitor. So this morning I fasted, and I even saw a difference getting on the Smart Scale within a matter of hours with the fasting. Can you enlighten us on how I'm surprised that you could see improvements in the Smart Scale even by just fasting for a couple of hours and moving around?
Yeah, that's one of the things. The ideal time to really take your weight is to do it first thing in the morning once you've had your movement, so to speak. It's better to do it and when you wake up and then you finish sort of doing your bathroom stuff because that gives you more accurate sort of with your weight. Now, weight as we know fluctuates with sort of your sodium content and you sort of retain more water when you have higher water in there, or when you're dehydrated. So waiting some time can have a dehydration effect. So how much did you notice on your scale? Like how much of a difference did you notice with your
Well,
weight?
yesterday when I was querying you, you mentioned that even a change day to day of point 1/10 of a percentage point, is a big improvement, and so I definitely saw improvements of 1 percentage point, and I even saw improvements in just a raw weight measurement. It might have been water weight, what have you.
Yeah.
But for me, the takeaway is being an ex-jock. I can't run the basketball court the way I used to. I can't hit a baseball the way I used to. I can't play handball the way I used to. But I still have that competitive edge. And one of the things that I noticed is if you have a competitive edge and you have an athletic point of view on things, you could compete with yourself with the various numbers on the Aura Ring, the continuous blood glucose monitor, and the Smart Scale, and make modifications in your behavior, your food choices, and the levels of activity you engage in, and see that you are winning hour by hour, moment by moment, day by day, week by week, month by month. And you could really use that to incentivize yourself to make better decisions, better than you can if you're laboring in obliviousness and you have no visibility on your data.
Oh, absolutely. The glucose monitor is great because you can, you take as many measurements as you want during the day, and it's a great index of when the appropriate time to eat is and when it's ideal for you to do that. So, if you have a good way to handle your data with the continuous blood glucose monitor is to identify sort of where you are at when you wake up, your waking blood glucose level, and then sort of fast a little bit, make sure that it's a stable measurement, and then when you start noticing when you're hungry, taking a measurement of what your blood glucose is. So find that trigger point that blood glucose measurement, that trigger point where you start getting hungry, and then you can use that as like an index when to eat. So if you're if you're actually hungry and you notice that your blood glucose is lower, then that's an optimal time to eat to get your blood sugar up so you're not hungry. But let's say, for example, that your blood sugar is higher than what your baseline is, but you're still kind of hungry. You can kind of use that also as a gauge to like how much to eat and what specifically to eat. So you don't want to necessarily raise your blood glucose levels. So having something with higher protein would be an ideal way to handle that, like a snack with just that's higher protein without having a lot of sugar to raise it up.
Right. Well, I could see, like for instance, today for lunch, I had a roasted beet salad left over from a couple of days ago at Lucy's at the Bardesano in Yountville. And I had bought some falafels from Juju down at the farmer's market, Juju from Syria. And so I had a couple of falafels and a beet salad. And I doubt that moved my blood glucose up much at all. What do you think?
I don't know. Beets can really spike your glucose sometimes because they have a high amount of sugar in them. So, but did you take a look at what your?
I didn't measure afterward, but it wasn't a big salad, and it was only 2 falafels.
Yeah,
and let me put it this way: it's better than eating a plate full of fettuccine alfredo. What do you think about that? I mean, really. I mean, I rather
There's no
had
comparison when it comes to.
I would have much rather had the linguine and clams. Trust me on this.
One of the things that affects the spikes of the glucose is having something that has fiber in it. If you've got something that has fiber in it, usually that suppresses the glucose response a little bit, and the quantity that you have.
Yeah.
So having a lot of something, you could have like white bread, and for me, I know that like white bread's one of those things that will spike my glucose levels. But having just a small amount of it doesn't necessarily spike it as much.
Right. So let's talk about giving some kind of a pecking order to these wearable tech items. I mean, they're all important. I found that the Smart Scale had the most robust dashboard. Mm-hmm. Would you go along with that? With the 13 different measurements?
It gives you a lot of information, for sure. By robust, what do you mean by robust?
Well, I mean, it really gives you a very clear understanding of what your body composition is.
Yeah.
Fat, lean muscle, bone density, all that. I mean, there are no illusions. You know, reality sucks, you know.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, there's no arguing with the data.
Right.
You know, I'm sure Ted Cruz and Kevin McCarthy would have tried to argue with the data. But, you know, this is nonpartisan data. No matter how stupid you are, it's the data. The data is there.
It's the beautiful part of it. It's
the data is there. You can't argue with the data. You can't put Dr. Fauci on the stand and argue about the veracity of his opinions.
Right.
So I thought that was very robust. I thought the continuous blood glucose monitor is interesting because it's more accessible than the scale. You know, you're not going to be jumping on the scale 12 times a day.
Right.
Whereas the continuous blood glucose monitor, you can scan like continually, right?
Yeah, that's the great part about it. It's something you can carry with you all the time. And really, that's sort of what is the key factor for your day-to-day, you know, throughout the days as an index of when to eat, how you're feeling, and ideally, like how you're going to handle your rhythms throughout the day. You know, the scale can be used once a day, could be used once a week, whenever you feel optimal for doing that.
Yeah.
And sleep ring is also the Oura ring is really great because that's kind of like a factor that you can tell has an impact on what your glucose levels are. I think we just talked about this. Like when I don't sleep well, like it throws my freaking glucose levels off.
I find the same thing. I
Drives
find
me
if I
nuts.
don't sleep well, my glucose is spiked in the morning, and I usually wind up fasting until lunch and have something austere like falafels and beet salad,
Right.
as opposed to fettuccine alfredo.
Yeah, I have to fast too until like it comes down to the optimal level and then start using that.
So I think my next acquisition is going to be the Apple Watch.
Yeah,
Because I think you can import most of the values, most of the data into Apple Health on the watch and have access to it or easily. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, the Apple Health app will take in all that information, you from the Oura, from your glucose, from your weight. It's pretty nice actually.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what. I mean, I feel energized. I feel empowered. I feel that the data is empowering because I remember when I got out of the Air Force in October of 1973, I was 143 pounds.
143?
143. I was a little emaciated. You know, my mother and father weren't there to give me some good manigot,
Captain
some
America
good
before.
tripa, you know, some good Sunday sauce, some linguine and clams. You know, I can eat so many burritos and quesadillas down in Texas.
Right.
And let's just say that I'm not 143 anymore. But let's just say that with my new insight that connects my behavior, my food choices, my activity, and makes it clear as far as data is concerned, I feel that I can make my way back to my post-Air Force weight at like 50% there in a short period of time. I feel empowered with the data. I don't feel like I'm driving with a windshield that's painted black. Your commentary on that?
Yeah, I think that that's what data does. Is it gives us that guidance. It's like the GPS for getting us to where we want to go.
Yeah, yeah. In my BMW, I can say, "Hey BMW," and it goes, "Yeah." I go, "How's the air pressure in my tires?" It says it's fine. You know, when do I need an oil change? How's this? How's that? It tells me everything. If I got it on my BMW, I might as well have it for my personal health.
What's the power of data? Because we can know where we are and where we want to go, but how to get there is really the most important part. Sometimes we just get overwhelmed with data, not know how to use it, but intuitively using these tools, you can figure out how you're reacting specifically during the day and taking action because you have an index that kind of gives you guidance to where to go and how to act.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. So, Matt, for those in the audience that do want to be empowered, that do want to be in the know, that want to take charge of their personal health, understand all the data available, how might they contact you to get some input directly from you?
Well, reach to my website at www.thenutritioniq.com, or you can reach me directly at Tryon at thenutritioniq.com.
That's right. And look how handsome my shirt is today.
Oh, look at
What does that
design.
say? What does that say?
It says Nutrition IQ. What the gut?
That's right. And what's that thing on the top there?
Well, that's actually the brain.
That is the brain.
Kind of brain, but it's
And what's the thing on the bottom? That must be the GI tract.
that's your GI. Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, it's
character
actually
sheet.
in the right
Right
place.
place, exactly.
It's about in the right place. The brain is a little bit low, but this is a very handsome shirt. You notice I wore it with a matching black, a matching Culinary Institute vest, and a matching mustard-colored shirt
It looks really slick.
with a matching Panama hat by Schramsberg. I'm so branded out today. It's amazing. That's right. Where else are you going to get a podcast video blog on health data, wearable tech, the Aura Ring, the Smart Scale, the continuous blood glucose monitor, all while drinking brandy or Cabernet Sauvignon?
And wearing fashion.
That's right. Only in Napa Valley. Only in Napa Valley.
Right.
Very good, very good. So thank you for checking in, taking a look at this. We encourage you to take a look at our past videos, tune into our future videos. You will see truncated preview versions of our YouTube videos on Facebook Reels in the 90 minutes they allot us. But if you're looking for the whole conversation, you'll find those on my YouTube channel, just johnvpinto.com. Like, subscribe, share, as they say. Very good. Okay, any parting shots, Matt?
You are runway ready. I might
Runway,
ask.
right. Excellent, excellent. Very good. Okay, bye everybody for now.